Team USA and the WNBA with a huge marketing fail.
There's no easy way out.
Some people think, well, I don't have a brand, I just have a business. Well, you do have a brand, and your brand does mean something to your customers. You know, I say a brand is a combination of who you think you are and what your customers know you are. And hopefully who you think you are and what your customers think you are match. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the No Easy Way Out podcast. My name is Tony Nash, and we're coming to you as always from the Woodworth building in beautiful downtown Owasso, home to my company, AZ Branding Solutions, where we help grow your brand from A to Z. So today we're joined by one of the fan favorites, our very own sales and marketing director, Mr. Casey Lambert. Casey, welcome back to the show, man, with the hot Vipers jersey coming in.
I got to wear the cuts, retro, vintage, and as you guys know, this is a hockey sweater. Tony, I know nothing about basketball.
Well, we're going to get into it today because I would say I probably talk about Caitlin Clark definitely more than anyone in the office. Most people roll their eyes and walk away when I start talking about it. You've at least had some contributions to this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
You've watched some Caitlin Clark games.
Yeah.
She's drawn some attention. But we're not here just to talk about Caitlin Clark. Even though I'm representing her, nobody would have ever thought there would be a day where not only would I watch women's basketball, but I would actually don a women's basketball jersey shirt on my chest.
Well, Tony, we've talked about this before. It transcends women's basketball. It transcends basketball in general. And at the basis of all of this, it is quintessential, good old American storytelling. And that's why I'm compelled about it.
Well, I don't know what it is exactly. All I know is that I can't stop tuning in. I have literally subscribed to the WNBA League Pass.
Whoa.
I have watched every single Caitlin Clark regular season game.
Whoa.
I got into it over the college basketball game. My oldest, or my second oldest daughter is really into it, so we've got it together. So I don't know if it's just because she's a great shooter, if I like the way she plays. She seems to have a little bit of the Mamba mentality. She's super competitive, but I can't stop watching.
She's got the Riz.
And it's not just me. It is millions and millions of fans that are watching this. And so today I wanted to take a minute to talk about, you know, as branders and marketers, I can't help but see it's seemingly obvious, huge blunder that Team USA made. And this is what the whole world is talking about. When I turn on any of my social media feeds, when I listen to the sports talk, when I turn on ESPN, they're all talking about Team USA snubbing Caitlin Clark from the roster. There's a varying level of opinions, and we'll get into those. But to me, from just a pure marketing standpoint, what an epic fail.
Well, you know, I listen, this is the first time in my life I've listened to Stephen A. Smith talk for 9 minutes straight.
Well, Stephen A.
And he made some good points.
Do you have a Stephen A. impression?
Listen, man, I don't have a Stephen A. impression.
Okay,
but if I did, okay.
That's not good.
I do professional wrestling impressions. I can do them. Look back in the old episodes. But you and I actually kind of, I don't agree with you. I don't. No, here's why. Like, obviously, we're marketers and we're branders, but you and I have established that we have a different technique and way of going about things.
Right. I'm right, you're wrong.
Yes, that is exactly why we work together. But I am more of a fan of like the underground, unexpected, how the crap is this getting publicity and why is it working? And here's where I'm at with this. This is the ultimate buildup for the hero Caitlin Clark. She's getting shunned and snubbed at every single turn. And I think I've also told you this before. USA Basketball and the U.S. Olympic Committee aren't purposely doing this. But if you're Caitlin Clark and
you're saying this isn't strategic.
No. But
that's my point.
It's going to work. Mark it down right now. 5 years down the road, when she's even bigger than she is now.
Provided she doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, provided she... Oh, man. Cameron Brink, man, we're praying for you, girl. Seriously. But I think this is a good thing, is what I'm saying.
Well, I can see how, obviously, any media attention is good, right? I mean, there's people talking about the WNBA. There's people talking about Team USA women's. So I get it. There's a value to that. But my question is, when you look at it from the standpoint of a league that is clearly failing, losing millions and millions of dollars every year, they have this wave of opportunity that they could ride. Is this, and I don't think it's strategic, we've seen this play out well in the wrestling world, which you like,
Oh, yeah.
and in other sports maybe when it was a little more strategic. I don't believe that it's strategic, but will this alienate more? Because the NBA doesn't have, the WNBA doesn't have a bunch of loyal followers. They're gaining those. So will this alienate people who are like, I'm done with it? Or will it maybe, as you're saying, build up anticipation for what could be the greatest hero story ever told?
I actually have a very good theory and explanation for this, right?
Okay.
So typically you would say, based on the WNBA being a 100% subsidized league, right? They're not profitable, never have been. They have this awesome, awesome star. They should be capturing lightning in a bottle. And that's what conventional wisdom would tell you. We've got lightning in a bottle. Let's capitalize and go all in on it. However, is it going to alienate fans by not including her? Ask yourself this, Tony.
I'm asking myself right now.
Are you still going to be a Caitlin Clark fan, even though she's not on the Olympic team?
For sure. And I'm
Ask yourself this also. All right. Are
Okay.
you going to watch the WNBA without Caitlin Clark? Or I'm sorry, without her on the Olympic team?
no.
The
Will I watch,
WNBA.
Oh, will I watch the WNBA?
Yes.
Just her games,
Okay.
probably.
So now watch this. Are you enraged by this, that she's not on the Olympic team?
Well, I want to talk about that. I'm not enraged that she's
Wait,
not on the
I'm
team.
almost done here.
Okay. So the question says not really enraged. No.
Okay, but you're upset.
I just think it's dumb from a marketing standpoint. It's stupidity. It's
So check this out. Rage, or some sort of form of that, disgust, disdain, whatever you want to call it, is a form of attention.
Sure.
And it's also a form of attention. And we know this because we're in the marketing branding world. And we know that for every 10 bad comments, you're going to get one good one. It is a more quantitative form of attention that spreads deeper and wider and more quickly, just like a pandemic would,
sure.
to create this ultimate back against the wall situation. I am a huge fan of long-term storytelling, and this for me is just another addition into this Caitlin Clark saga.
Okay, so let me take a step back for a second. Okay,
stepping
we've
back.
gotten really deep already, which I love. I love
Passionate.
your passion. I love your
Passionate.
passion. I got some of that as well.
I don't even know
But
anything about basketball.
let's start with the USA Olympic Selection Committee.
Okay, this is good. Yeah.
I get it that they're saying who are the most qualified basketball players. This is the world stage. This is the Olympics. You're representing our country. So in terms of pure basketball, is Caitlin Clark good enough or as good as many of the players on that roster? Who would they replace? We talked, there's been some talks about Brittany Griner. Replace her because she's anti-America. That's a lot of people's opinion. She's had a lot of statements about America and the national anthem. So why should she represent our country? There's that opinion. Then there's Chelsea Gray, who's considered to maybe be the greatest point guard in the WNBA, but she hasn't played any games this year. But stat for stat, she's better than Caitlin Clark right now if she's healthy. So from pure basketball standpoint, probably not. Now, Caitlin Clark in college broke every record possible. Scoring record, three-point record, Big Ten record, all-time scoring record, men's scoring record. Went to the championship 2 years in a row, didn't come up a winner, did all kinds of things, but most notably brought with her millions of fans and packed out arenas all over the country. So just from a pure basketball standpoint, probably does not yet deserve to be on the team. Although historically, the WNBA,
she's also never played in international competition, not
right,
since AAU.
but historically, the WNBA team has taken rookies almost every year. Diana Taurasi.
Well, yeah, because they mop the
part of
floor with everybody. You can
Right.
put
They
anybody on that
They haven't
team.
lost since 1992, right? So, the committee literally said this. This was their response. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We don't want her millions of fans to be upset that she's going to have limited minutes on the team.
Yep, that was what the Stephen A. rant was about.
And I said, did you realize you just said millions of fans? Those millions of fans would have probably tuned in. The Team USA women have not lost since 1992, have won every single gold medal, and yet they do not even get as many fans as swimming or the javelin throw or any of these other events. They don't get people
don't
to come.
sleep on the javelin throw. That is a dangerous sport, Tony.
They don't get people to come to the gold medal ceremonies. People don't know the names of these people. And this is an opportunity in my opinion, to say we're going to bring lots of attention. Everybody's going to tune into the Women's Olympics. NBC, who has invested $8 billion.
I like where you're going with this. Keep going.
NBC, who has invested $8 billion, I'm sure is concerned about eyes and attention and people watching it and which sports they're going to cover. If all of a sudden you have millions of fans wanting to tune into women's basketball, what will that do not only for the Olympics? What will that not do for the WNBA? What will that not do for women's basketball in general? And it will put it on a global stage. There already has been over $60 million in sponsors that have backed out because Caitlin Clark wasn't selected. I think that list is going to grow. So in terms of just pure marketing, it's crazy.
Oh,
it's insane.
Listen,
how are you not including
It is a debaucherous situation.
Debaucherous, good word.
For NBC, for the Olympic Committee, and for a lot of those sponsors. What I'm saying is this is a perfect setup for Caitlin Clark. Now, I want to go back to the NBC situation because there has
This will have a huge financial impact.
Exactly. So there's been huge turmoil. I happen to be a big fan of the Olympics. Thank you, John Williams, for writing the greatest theme song for sports of all time in the Olympic theme song. But, you know, I've been a fan ever since, you know, my dad had me watch The Miracle on Ice in Lake Placid in 1980. And I watched the absolute rivalry between Oksana Bayul and Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding, and watching the speed skating of Shawnee Davis and Apollo Antonono. I can go on and on. I'm like a huge, huge Olympics fan. But here's the situation at hand. Last Summer Olympics for NBC, did you know it was the lowest rated Olympics?
I do.
The entire time NBC has aired the Olympics.
Yeah.
The lowest, the ratings were the absolute lowest. Now, it could have been management between streaming platforms and broadcasts and all this, but here's the thing. They absolutely need a bump right now.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at the Summer Olympics right now, right, and it's branded as, it's an international competition. It's a celebration of these countries and these athletes from these small. No, here's what it's about for NBC. Are people watching?
Right. Are we
Yes
selling
or no?
ads?
How do we get people to watch? We spotlight and we highlight our American teams or a really prominent story from another country, i.e. Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
Who are you cutting off, right? You're cutting off Caitlin Clark, who is the absolute firebrand out of
the talk
anybody
of the world
because
right
we
now
don't
in
have
the
a
world of
Michael
sports.
Phelps right now, right? We don't have any of that for the U.S. Olympic
we don't
team.
have Simone Biles.
So the Olympic Selection Committee here is doing what they always do. And that is they put their own interest first and they don't look at anybody else around them. If I'm NBC, I am absolutely livid at the Olympic Selection Committee because here's the thing. You just dropped my ratings. You just lost me my advertisers.
Millions
the
of
Olympics
dollars.
might pull from my network in the future because you decided to leave somebody off of a roster because you wanted to stand on your grandstand and say, I'm better than everybody because this person is just, no, they don't play our game.
Well, that's part I don't understand, Casey. What I'm trying to say is,
Sorry, I went on a huge rant.
you
right
seem
there.
a little passionate. I thought
A
I
little
had
bit.
some passion. You got more. The thing that I don't understand is how in the world do they miss this? The entire world, in the world of sports, it's all they're
Oh,
talking
I'm telling
about
you,
right
they
now.
did it on purpose.
Well, I think it stems from a lot of jealousy
Yep.
from the players involved, the coaches involved.
Past players.
There's a lot of these women who have done some incredible things, way more than Caitlin Clark has done, and are better players and didn't get the notoriety, didn't get the attention, didn't get the shine, didn't get the endorsements. Caitlin Clark gets a $28 million Nike deal before she even signs a WNBA contract. And so there's a lot of jealousy. And so instead of just saying, you know what, man, if I were, let's say, Diana Taurasi, and I wanted to grow my brand.
Who I used to love, Diana Taurasi.
And I still do. She's an incredible player. But what I would think is I want to have Caitlin Clark on the team. I want to room with her, and I'm going to make an account, and we're going to just follow. Me and Caitlin Clark are going to do everything
give
at
her
the
the
Olympics.
rub, yeah.
She
Give her
would
the
get
rub.
so much attention for just becoming like Caitlin Clark's mentor. She'd be known as the girl that passed the baton to Clark, and people would fall in love with her, or whatever veteran decided to do that, and their brand would probably explode. You know, Kate Martin, who was the 16th pick in the WNBA draft,
Who showed up to draft night,
not even expecting
to get drafted.
is drawing more attention to the Las Vegas Aces, and more fans are attending their games.
Oh,
and
she's
more
killing it though. Have you seen her stats?
She's
great.
averaging like 3 points a game.
Yeah, but
She's doing good.
Impactful minutes.
But what
off
I'm
the
saying
bench.
is, only because her proximity to Caitlin Clark, people grew this affinity
Mm-hmm.
for her. The Las Vegas Aces are two-time WNBA back-to-back champions, and nobody knows who any of their players
Mm-hmm.
are. Now, because of the 16th pick, who doesn't even start, they're all of a sudden getting all this attention. So just the proximity to her, to Caitlin Clark, gets this kind of love. And listen, I can't explain it. I don't know why it is. A similar thing happened in the 80s with a guy named Michael Jordan,
Oh yeah.
who came into a league with Magic Johnson and Bird and Dr. J, who were all kinds of flash, who maybe drew some attention, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but the NBA was losing money. Players had $150,000 contracts. Endorsement deals were not a thing. Everybody
and
wore
Jordan moved the needle, and because of it, he got to select who was on the Olympic roster and approve or deny, and that's why Isaiah got left.
That's why
off.
Isaiah Thomas got left off the roster. Good point.
But listen, man, you're right here, and I just want to, Dan, please insert the clip from a couple of podcasts ago when I said I'm a feminist here, because I'm about to say something that's really going to anger this crowd. I feel like.
Okay.
All right. Feminine rage is a real thing in this situation. These women, as you said, are jealous because it's not them. They're mad because they didn't get the attention. And listen, there are some great players on this list. Like you mentioned,
players.
Diana Taurasi, Lisa Leslie,
Asia Wilson.
generational great basketball players who weren't getting the attention. But they're sitting out there going, why me? Instead of, hey, we can get that rub that you're talking about
do I
right now.
capitalize on
We can
this?
progress this league for the people that come after us, and we can be part of that along with Caitlin, which is what the NBA did with Michael Jordan. Because if you don't have Michael Jordan, you don't have Kobe Bryant. If you don't have Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you don't have LeBron James. Like the superstar thing is real in a sport like basketball because you only have 5 people,
Yeah.
right? Of course, you have your bench players, and
Sure.
as a fan of the '04 Pistons, we all know how important Scoreless Williamson was, or Lindsey Hunter. I think his name is Corliss.
Mike
which is-
James.
yeah, like that's important.
Mehmet Okur.
But in all intents and purposes, out of all professional sports that we watch as Americans, basketball is more focused singularly on the individual. So when you have, as you state, someone who makes that much of an impact culturally, and you don't make the decision to include that person,
Right.
like, and we're not like, listen, man, we haven't even got into the actual WNBA aspect of
Right.
like Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark and
That's
all
another
that,
episode.
all that other stuff. Which again, here's me being a fan of storytelling in the long term and going, this is great. I love the drama,
Love the rivalry.
LFG.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're, as you said, Tony, the USOC made an absolute trash decision of leaving her off the roster. And honestly, I'm sitting over here going, well, the 3-on-3 women's basketball, Cameron Brink just got injured.
Right.
Put
Caitlin Clark in there.
Maybe they save face and put her in the 3-on-3, which I
Good
honestly
point.
think
I
she'd
hadn't
be
thought
more
of that.
entertaining in.
For sure.
And since 3-on-3 basketball isn't really like recognized, it's a new Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, let's bring some eyes to a brand new sport.
It's a great point.
Just a
I hadn't
thought.
thought of that.
Just a
Yeah.
thought.
It's a great idea. Mark that one down. USA team, here's a chance to redeem yourself.
Bam.
Well, and I think there's possibility that she could still get selected for the roster if somebody doesn't, get healthy or whatever. But even, beyond
But
the
at
US,
this phase, it would just seem like they're saving face. They're retconning the storyline.
Sure.
Right? They're making
but
Kiadi Mooney
it's all right.
born in a certain time.
Even if they do that, it's okay. People will still get on board. But beyond even Team USA, the WNBA itself and their brand as a failing brand should interject
Mm-hmm.
and say, you know what, we need this. If we talked
But
a
they
little bit
won't because they have the rageful women in charge.
I agree, but we talked a little bit about Michael Jordan
Yeah.
coming into the league with superstars, even that were better than him at first. Wasn't the best player right off the bat, but for some reason he was marketable.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted to be like
Heck
Mike.
yeah, he was.
People wanted to be like Mike. They wanted to wear
Yeah.
they wanted to wear the Air Jordans. They wanted to have the shoes. It's all about the shoes.
They wanted to be little Bow Wow in a movie.
And so he got the endorsement deals. He got all this thing, and he brought the attention. And you hear players like Isaiah Thomas, who got snubbed because of MJ, but still to this day, just recently had a quote that said, "We all, me, MJ, Dr. J, or me, Dr. J, Larry Bird, we all ate off of Michael Jordan's success." And the WNBA, somebody with some sort of a business mind, please, if you're listening, somebody with some marketing sense, please understand what is happening. Get a hold of it. Check your emotions. Check your ego. check your jealousy, and just do what's best for the sport, or else put somebody else in charge, because you're going to lose opportunity.
Dude, I'm
And
so glad you said ego, because at the onset of it, look at it, and it was just going through my head. When you mention Magic and Larry and Jay and Jordan and Isaiah, those were as much as they were fierce, hated rivals of one another, they understood the greater picture was working as a team to promote the bigger picture.
well, what was
And
good
that's
for
not what we're getting. It's all egocentric in the WNBA, man.
Well, and then then we go to the 92 Olympics, when they first started to allow professional players, and they had the selection of the Dream Team, the greatest team ever assembled, 11 Hall of Famers, and then Christian Laettner. Right?
Yes.
And they brought Christian Laettner
great white
because
hope.
why did they bring Christian Laettner? Because in
brought
college,
college eyes.
when he was in college, he was the most popular player by far, and a lot of people loved him or hated him. There's actually a documentary called I Hate Christian Laettner, right? A 30 by 30. But
Poor Christian Laettner.
today, when you look at players like who are the best players in the NBA right now? Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic,
Yes.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, all foreigners. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, all foreigners, and all of them say they took interest in basketball when they saw the Dream Team.
Yep.
Because it put the NBA on a global stage, and the WNBA now has an opportunity to put their sport on a global stage and get young girls all over the world interested and new fans in the game that is only going to grow the sport and grow the money and bring the endorsement deals, and everyone's going to get paid. Man, these women are making $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
The highest paid WNBA player, just salary, is like $250,000. If they would just learn how to capture this wave and tell the story and embrace what's happening. I'm not saying that they need to go easy on Caitlin Clark on the court. Let the competition happen.
Yeah.
But ride this wave of momentum.
Within reason.
And the WNBA jump in here and say, hey, we need this. We need this. Then all of a sudden, you're going to see all of these players making more money, getting more endorsement deals. More people are going to be watching. The day trading attention that we talk about is going to happen.
I can relate this back to hockey. So right now, the NHL has an absolute generational superstar in Connor McDavid. And spoiler alert, I hate him. I don't like generational superstars. They annoy me. The media pressure behind it, the favorable calls and everything. But Connor McDavid is with the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup Finals, and currently at the recording this episode, it's 3-2 Florida Panthers. Edmonton was down 3-0. Connor McDavid put his team on his back and carried them to where they're at right now, headed home to Edmonton. It is such a good storyline because, and I hate Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, but he's really putting a push behind Connor McDavid and giving him the support in the eyes of the media, in the eyes of the fans, that really gives that extra bit of superstar push and makes it a very compelling thing. Now, I'm the antigen. I don't like those big generational superstar players with favorable treatment, but you can't deny, man, they move the needle. They move the needle.
So I know you're a data guy.
Yeah, big
You
stats
have
guy.
a shirt that says talk data to me. So let's talk some data to you, Casey. I'm going to speak your love language here for a minute. I'm going to talk some data to you, okay?
Let's talk data.
So USA women's team since 92 have won every gold medal.
Yes.
Have had in the bottom 10% of viewership of the Olympic sports, especially for medal ceremonies. Lisa Leslie, one of the greatest female basketball players of all time, has come out to the Olympic Committee and said, this is a huge mistake. You're making a big mistake. She gets it. Because she was there. She's a 4-time Olympic gold medalist.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? This year, with Caitlin Clark on the court, ticket sales in the WNBA are up 60+%. That's huge. The Indiana Fever, in their first 5 home games, sold more tickets than they sold all of 2023. Okay? There is a 236% surge in jersey sales. There is a 40% jump in TV ratings. There is a 50% rise in League Pass subscriptions. So, there's no denying the Caitlin Clark effect. There's no denying. The numbers don't lie. And so, will that translate to the Olympics? Absolutely. And so, me, personally, never watched a WNBA game for this year. Never once watched a single game. Couldn't tell you the name of 5 WNBA players. Couldn't even tell you. I didn't even know there was only 12 teams. I couldn't tell you the names of any of the teams.
Did
This
anybody
year,
tell you the Detroit Shock don't exist anymore, Tony?
I know. I'm trying. I'm fighting for him to come back just so I can go watch Caitlin Clark. But now I am a league pass subscriber. I'm watching games, and there's millions of other people like me, and so I think the negativity and the jealousy and the ego and the pride needs to stop, and they need to just embrace this thing and make something happen. And so I think when it comes to sports, there is, in terms of professional sports, it's entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
And the Olympics is a business.
Mm-hmm.
And the Olympics, when a country hosts an Olympic, this year it's in Paris, the amount of money it generates in revenue for that city is astronomical. I don't have the specific numbers. We already said that the last Olympics were the lowest ever because, pandemic probably was a big part of it, but we didn't have a big name
No
to get excited about.
storytelling. Yeah, it just wasn't.
And now we have this like global sensation. And I think the Olympics, it's not too late. I think you need to change the course and put Caitlin Clark on the roster. Now, you do put her on the roster, and probably it's going to make all those other players upset and hate on her. But I also think that's a mistake. So let's wrap this thing up.
Okay.
We could talk about this all day. But my final thought on this topic is Team USA, you made the wrong choice. You're missing a huge opportunity. We're not just talking hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. We're talking millions and millions of dollars. New fans to the sport. It's a big mistake. I like Casey's idea. Maybe throw her on the 3-on-3 team with Paige Beckers Haley Van Lith.
Yep.
That could be a great, fun duo that people would get into, but do something quick because you're missing an opportunity.
Yeah.
Final thought, Casey, on that?
Final thought. Olympic snub. Great for the Caitlin Clark brand. Absolutely love it. Long-term storytelling.
For sure.
USOC, possibly the worst branding decision, right aside to how they handled the Michael Phelps pot smoking situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, I like what you're saying that for Caitlin Clark's brand, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's only helping her.
Oh, yeah.
She has even more people.
Give CC more power, baby.
So figure it out, Team USA. Today's episode is sponsored by Delk Siding, one of our season sponsors. Are you in need of siding solutions for your new home, commercial building, or insurance repairs? Ooh, I think I might be. Look no further than Delk Siding Solutions. Their team of experts is dedicated to providing professional and reliable service to our clients or their clients in Lansing, Owasso, Flint, and surrounding areas. That's where all of our listeners are. Hopefully you have some siding solutions you are in need of. Whether you're in need of full siding replacement, new build installation, or damage repair, they can help. Contact them today to schedule a consultation and estimate. We'll put their information in the comments. They will work closely with you to understand your needs and provide you with the best possible solutions to meet your budget and timeline. Let Delk Siding Solutions take care of all your siding needs. Thank you, Delk, for your support of the No Easy Way Out podcast, and go check them out. Now, as we do in every episode, we're going to rank 5 things. We got just a few minutes here, so we got to go through these things quick. But we are going to rank our top 5 most impactful female Olympians of all time.
Let's go.
And so I've got 5 based on not just their credentials, their medals, even though that's part of it, but how they impacted their sport.
The story, baby.
So let's start with, real quick, Casey, I'm going to pull up my phone here so I can read mine. Give me number 5.
My number 5, I will never get this image out of my head. Carrie Strug, when she broke her ankle on the vault and her coach picked her up. And man, it's just
Won the hearts of us all.
I literally have goosebumps from that.
Well, you get goosebumps at least once a day.
That put USA gymnastics on the map.
It sure did. Number 5 for me, Lisa Leslie.
Ooh.
Women's basketball player, probably one of the greatest of all time. 4 gold medals, 1996 to 2008. Obviously elevated the profile of women's basketball, but had endorsement deals with Nike and Adidas, which doesn't happen very often, and has been on Wheaties boxes and all types of things, and now she's an ambassador for women's basketball. Number 4?
Number 4, same era, the captain, Mia Hamm. Again, when I say like put them on the map, Mia Hamm put USA women's soccer on the map far before Megan Rapinoe and Carly Lloyd or any of those people.
Yeah.
I mean, great. That team had a lot of good talent on it, but Mia Hamm was the captain and the recognizable face.
100%. I have her on my list, but not at number 4. My number 4 is Lindsey Vonn, actually.
Oh.
A skier, Winter Olympics.
Tiger
One of the
Woods,
most successful
y'all.
skiers of all time. 3 Olympic medals, only 1 gold and 2 bronze. So you think, well, that's not great. But think about the impact she had. Red Bull, Under Armour, Blistex, Rolex.
She made little girls want to do downhill skiing instead of snowboarding.
Exactly. She had such an impact on the sport. She had her own reality TV show, and she has 2.3 million followers on Instagram.
Tiger
And so
Woods.
she learned how she was a marketable player that had impact on the sport.
Right.
Number 3.
Number 3, I have Larissa Latinina from Russia. And I only say this because we now see Russia, used to be the Soviet Union, as an absolute powerhouse in gymnastics. And that really started with her in her 18 gold medals. 18.
18. That's incredible. Well, all mine are Olympics because America. What did I say? All mine are Olympics. All mine are Americans. U.S. because America. Thank you. My number 3 is Mia Hamm, pioneer in women's soccer.
Yes.
2 gold medals, 1 silver medal. Obviously inspired generations of young girls to play soccer, popularized women's soccer in the U.S. particularly because it was not popular here at all. Sponsored by Gatorade, Nike, Powerbar, Wheaties, and she played a key role in founding the Women's United Soccer Association. So
Huge.
obviously fundamental for the sport.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2.
Number 2, I was going to put Marion Jones here, but hashtag steroids. So I wanted to keep it in track and field, and I was a toss-up, man. Allison Felix, generational sprinter, and then Jackie Joyner-Kersee. And so, like, I can't rank one above the other. So I got Allison Felix and Jackie Joyner-Kersee here.
My next is a duo.
Oh, ooh.
Okay.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
You'll remember
yep,
this.
I know where you're going with
Carrie
this.
Walsh and Misty May Trainer.
Yes.
The volleyball duo.
Beach volleyball, baby.
They made watching beach volleyball fun. 3 consecutive Olympic gold medals from 2004 to 2012. They actually won a bronze in 2016. Let me finish. They brought beach volleyball into the spotlight. They had endorsements by Gatorade, Oakley, Procter & Gamble, and they made me watch, which is, a big thing.
They revolutionized this in the way, and a lot of people I don't think realize where this came from. Do you realize they were one of the first people to be mic'd up while playing?
Yeah.
And that made
now that's such a popular thing.
And that was such an addition to that sport, watching it in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because they were like twins out there.
I mean, just like any
freaking
athlete
great.
that makes you feel proud to be an American, right? And they did.
Jeez.
All right.
Bless out
Drum
to
roll,
them.
please. Your number 1 most impactful women's Olympian of all time.
I just read the other day that this woman holds the world record, or like the world record time in the 100-meter freestyle, like the top 20 world record times.
Yeah.
It's Katie Ledecky.
Yeah.
And
I
again,
almost put her.
massively decorated. Like USA Swim obviously has a very storied background. I mean, dating way back to Mark Spitz, but Katie Ledecky is the flag bearer now. I can't name a single man on the USA Swim team at this point. Katie Ledecky is Captain America for this Olympic run.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't leave my number 1 off the list. She's considered maybe the GOAT, certainly of the sport.
Caitlin Clark.
Simone Biles, widely regarded as the greatest women's gymnast of all time. 7 Olympic gold medals, 4 gold, 1 silver. Obviously, tons of world titles. She was on Dancing with the Stars, endorsed by Nike, Uber Eats, Beats by Dre. She's been on tons of magazines. Vogue, Time,
She's a
Sports
great
Illustrated.
brand. She's a great brand.
And she has 7.1 million followers on Instagram. So just an absolute star. Learn how to maximize her.
I still think
her
Katie
sport,
Ledecky
so.
is Captain America.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Well, I think that's about it. I think we solved the problem here. I think Team USA should reach out to AZ Branding Solutions so that we can help you figure out this big issue. I'm telling you, in a 5-minute call, I could fix this whole thing for you and make Team USA millions, probably billions of dollars, and it's worth your call. So give us a call, 1-844-360-AZ. Visit us online at azbranding.com. By the way, we wrote an article about this very topic. You can find it at our blog at azbranding.com. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all the socials. Casey, anything before we let him go?
That's why they call him the brand father, folks.
That was my cheap plug. All right, well, listen, thanks for watching. As my mother always said, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.